And what's up, everybody? Steve D'Angelo, Rotowire Online Championship, Night Owl Draft. We're back for another one. Took a few days off. Went up to the Jags camp. Went up to St. Augustine area. It was very, very nice. Kids go back to school pretty soon. Wife's going back to work. She's also a teacher. So, couple, last trip, got it in. But we're back drafted tonight. We're going to bring up the draft board in a second. I'm third on the clock. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the show. Follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. And we're going to be going 20 rounds tonight, showing you guys how this all breaks out. So, again, third pick for me tonight. I think the last time I did this, I was out of the 8-hole. But now I'm out of the 3-hole. So, follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. Like, subscribe, share. Let's go. Welcome to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, discussing high-stakes fantasy football, NFL picks, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, 15 seconds to the draft. I see that Jay is in the room, says, do it up. I will do that, Jay. I don't think you're in here tonight, but I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon in one of these draft rooms. So thanks for joining us tonight, brother. Third pick tonight, and we'll see how this baby pops off. I actually wanted to get to the back end of the draft, but that did not happen. So I'm on the clock now. And I'm going to go Bijan. So I think it's my second or third share of Bijan in this Rotowire OC. I was hoping to get to the back end and maybe snatch CMC. I was thinking about a draft that I did maybe about a month ago, and I think Joe Carlton was on with me, and CMC fell to like the middle of the second round. Doesn't seem like he's going that range anymore in these drafts. And I didn't take him, and I should have taken him because it's not going to happen many times. I ended up taking Derrick Henry, which is obviously fine. But when you can get CMC in the middle of the second round, I should have jumped on that. So that happens again at some point in one of these drafts. I'm going to jump on it. But I was hoping to get him towards the back end of the draft in this one. But I ended up with the third pick. So, again, this is third round reversal. So, the first pick of the third round is not the number 1 pick. It is the number 12 pick, the number 12 team, rather. So, it's a little bit different, and then it works its way back down. They did that years ago because, obviously, LaDainian Tomlinson and all those guys were such studs in the beginning of drafts. It was such an advantage. I don't know if it's as much of an advantage as it used to be, but it's a different type of, format and strategy. So it's good. 6 points per passing touchdown, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a kicker, and a defense, and then 10 bench spots. So that is the NFC Rotowire Online Championship, and that's how their formats go in general. PlayNFC.com. Go check them out. Probably my favorite site to draft on. So lots of different leagues. Go check it out. All right. So we got Chase, Gibbs, Robinson, Bijan, CD, Jefferson, Barkley, Neighbors, Puka, CMC, Brian Thomas. Genty goes a little bit later, 11 here. Then this team 12 gets Amon-Ra and Achane at the 12 hole. Yeah, I mean, Genty's usually going around the 8th spot the last month or so. Thomas kind of flipped him here. Thomas went in front of him. That usually doesn't happen, but it can happen. I mean, anything can happen. People have different preferences. There goes Derrick Henry, Drake London. Good start for Team 10. Brian Thomas and Drake London. That's always a nice little 1-2 punch. Drake London should have a very, very nice season. I'm really excited about Michael Penix this year. I went back and watched all his throws, and if you could protect him, and that's kind of the way I felt when I watched him in college, those last two bowl games. That game against Texas, he went absolutely off. And the game against Michigan, he was not protected. He fell apart. And I think he's a little fragile too. They don't really want him moving around the pocket or running around too much, but you give him time, he's going to pick you apart. Um, so Drake London should have a pretty nice season. And if he goes down, Penix, you got Kirk Cousins. So it's pretty safe unless Cousins ends up on another team. But right now he's stuck in Atlanta. So good insurance in case he does get hurt. All right. So I'm swinging back up here. Jay says he did a cut line earlier. I got to do a couple of those. It's a 10 team format. I saw that one. I was thinking about getting into it. Maybe I'll jump into one or two this year for sure. Mile High Luke says, good luck seeing your name around. Haven't caught a stream yet. Appreciate that, man. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely do so. I will be doing a lot more of these all the way up until week 1. All the way. I might even do one like, that Saturday after that Thursday night game. So yeah, definitely appreciate, man, you coming in. Like, subscribe to the show if you haven't already. Jefferson Bowers, nice little spot for him there with Jefferson. And I'm up next here. So team 4 has CD. Let's see if he goes receiver or running back here. Kind of like to take Jonathan Taylor in this spot, but I keep passing on Bucky Irving. I kind of keep passing up on Ladd too. Ladd's dealing with something a little bit minor of an injury. So I don't know. It's so early still. Can't get too worked up about that. But there goes Ladd anyway. So, it's tough because I love Jonathan Taylor, but I do love Bucky Irving. Do I want to go receiver? Do I want to switch it up and go Tyreek? I haven't been taking a ton of Tyreek. Again, I just don't trust Tua. There's so many dump offs to Achane. But the receivers, the depth's not great. And I already have a running back to start, which is fine, I normally take Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to switch it up here and get Bucky Irving. I like Bucky Irving a lot. I think he's, I don't see a fallback. I mean, I understand Tristan Wirfs is out for a little while. We'll see how long it takes him to come back. New offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen's gone. They got this guy Gizzard who's been in the building. The guy reminds me of Nick Swisher. Not only looks like him, he kind of sounds like him too. Nick Swisher, if you guys remember, played baseball player. Played for the Yankees, a bunch of other teams. But definitely reminds me of Nick Swisher. But anyway, I like Bucky Irving a lot. I think he's going to have another great year. He was a little bit banged up down the stretch, but still kept getting on the field. And I just think he's talented. He's the real deal. So I haven't been getting a lot of them. I've been passing on him for Taylor. T. Higgins, I'll take in that spot sometimes. Sometimes I'll take McBride so. Tyreek is a guy that is interesting because he's so freaking talented. And, he had a down year last year. Obviously, the Dolphins were a shit show. Not even 1,000 yards for Tyreek. Just 6 touchdowns. Before the year prior, 1,800 yards, 13 touchdowns. So, 1,700 in 2022, 1,800 in 2023. Ken Tyreek, he's 31 years old now. I think the quickness and the speed is, maybe dropped off slightly, but not so much where he's not going to be able to be an effective receiver. I just think, I don't know, there's something with the Dolphin system. Tua loves to check it down to, last year was Jonnu and freaking Devin Achane a million times and all those swing passes. It was like 3rd and 12, and it's like a 4-yard pass to Jonnu. 3rd and 12, and a 3-yard pass to Devin Achane. Meanwhile, you got Jaden Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But Jonnu's out of the building now. So that could be an indication that they want to get these guys back involved again, which I think they need to do. And McDaniels, has to get Tyreek and Waddle. I mean, these guys are so freaking talented. You can't just be, dumping it off to your tight end, your running back all the time. So, Tyreek really could have a bounce back season. He went right after the Bucky Irving pick. So I do want to get some Tyreek. I will. I mean, he's too good just to fade. I mean, you cannot fade him. So even at 31 years old, usually he was a first-round pick. Now he's a second-round pick, so a little bit of a discount. But the upside is immense with him, obviously. He could easily be a league winner still. So I think he's still got to go after Tyreek. And I kind of wish I would have did that there, but I'm good with Bucky Irving. Again, I haven't been getting much of him. So next drafts, I'll go after Tyreek. All right, receivers. Still got JSN. I don't have a number 1 yet. You got Terry who's holding out. You got Mike Evans. Rashee Wright's going to be suspended. I think 6 games. So, I might be looking at Xavier Worthy here. There's still a good amount of depth at the receiver position, so I could fill it in fine. Breece Hall is a guy I haven't been getting either, too. So do I start 3 running backs here? I'm a little bit down on Breece. I'm a Jets fan. Last year was just, he didn't look right. Supposedly had an MCL injury, which would make sense. But, clip out today, Aaron Glenn talking about getting Breece Hall in the passing game out in space. Obviously similar to what Jahmyr Gibbs was doing with the Lions. And, Breece could really, really excel there. Caught 76 balls 2 years ago, 57 last year. But still hasn't had a 1,000-yard season in the NFL. Now he's going into his 4th season. But Justin Fields there should open up holes for him a little bit. The offense should be better. New offensive coordinator. No more Hackett there and the Aaron Rodgers Packers brigade with freaking Lazard and Randall Cobb. And, oh, man, just ridiculous. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Kyron is just such a proven commodity in fantasy the last 2 years playing in that offense. I do like Jarquez Hunter, but I mean, Kyron should be able to do it once again too. James Cook, I like a lot. Still, he's being kind of underrated by the fantasy community a little bit. Love Kenneth Walker. If he could stay healthy, he's hurt every single freaking year. I'm not a big Marvin Harrison guy. McLaurin, I think he'll be back in camp, but I don't really want to take him here. The question is, do I want to take another running back here and go 3 running backs with this build? And I haven't been getting a lot of Breece Hall. I haven't been getting a lot of Kyron either. Josh Allen, quarterback, I don't mind paying the premium for. He goes. So, what are we going to do here? We'll go Breece Hall. We'll switch it up. Make this draft a little bit different. 3 running backs. Not something I'm going to always do. I like Walker a lot. Brommel says, sup, Steve? What's up, man? William Stevens says, killing it, bro. Appreciate that. Lots of comments from Mile High Luke. Jay says he does not trust Bucky. I trust him, man. I like him a lot. I think he's legit. And he's in a great offense, and I'm not worried about Rachaad White. Lots more comments here. Let me just make this pick on the swing, then I'll get to the rest of these comments. Mile High Luke says you play over a PC, FFPC as well. Yes, I do. I already streamed a couple of those. I think I streamed maybe one or two of those already. The Big Gorilla. So yeah, definitely play over there. Not as much as NFC. And how much do you play the spread? How much do you play to spread your ownership out across multiple players versus taking your guys just think will be better? Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna grab the guys I like the most. I'm not gonna try to, distribute it too evenly. Um, but I will mix in, you know, some guys that I don't get a lot here and there. But I won't have, I'll definitely have a higher percentage of guys. Like I remember a couple of years ago, I had like, I don't know, it was like 60% J.K. Dobbins. Then he freaking tore his Achilles in week 1. And I had a ton of Nick Chubb that year, and he blew his ACL out. So you don't want to be overcommitted. You don't want to be like crazy overcommitted. It could work out, but you could get burnt like I did 2 years ago. So, all right, I'm up. Next, Kyron is still sitting there, but I can't take 4 running backs. Even though I like the value there. Oh, man. I mean, you can only start 3, but it's a hell of a depth right there if I took Kyron. Or, I mean, Walker, Cook, but I need a receiver. So I'm going to take Worthy. Again, I think that Rashee Rice is going to get suspended for 6 games. So that's just going to increase Worthy's value big time. And there's no way Rashee Rice should go ahead of Worthy, in my opinion, right now. Because I think he's facing at least a 4 and possibly 6, maybe more. I would have loved to take Kyron Williams there and start this baby off of 4 running backs and just be different. But again, you can't start 3. I mean, you can't start 4 backs like you can do in FFPC or FFWC, and you start 3 receivers in this format. So it really limited me at receiver. And Worthy's got a good opportunity here, and I haven't been getting a lot of Worthy either. But yeah, my Luke, I kind of do, I'm always going to try to get guys that I like the most. I'm going to maybe go, 40%, maybe 50%. Not again, not going to try to go over 50%, but maybe I will. We'll see. But I always get some guys that I don't normally draft just to mix it up. But I'm always going after my guys for the most part. I feel like Miami comes down entirely to whether or not McDaniels can evolve his offense to NFL. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think they're kind of onto him a little bit. I think Miami's a shit show. I went to the Bills Miami game last year on Thursday night. Man, they just look sorry. The Dolphins fans were just sorry, and they got destroyed by Buffalo. That was the game Tua actually got hurt, but they weren't even playing that well before he got hurt. So, yeah, I don't know, but they did finish strong last year. I think they finished like 6-2, but I think their schedule was pretty Swiss. Walker, I do like Kenneth Walker a lot. I've been drafting him a lot, so that's why I wanted to throw in Brees. And I don't want to totally dismiss Brees because he was a first-round pick last year. So, and he is talented. I mean, this guy was, the first back taken in the draft a few years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. So I don't want to totally dismiss him. And I think the Jets, I mean, it's always risky when you're taking Jets players. I mean, just prepare for a shit show. But I'm excited about Fields. I think the offense can move the ball. And they're going to be running a lot. I'm not worried about Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis. So, I got to get some Brees shares, and I'm happy I got him there. Brees sounds defeated when he talks. Did you listen to his presser this past week? Yeah, he just kind of mild-mannered. I didn't hear his presser, though. That scheme is going to smash for Walker. I mean, I agree. I think Clint Kubiak, obviously Gary Kubiak, all those years with Shanahan, that system is definitely a good one. And that's why I've been drafting a lot of Kenneth Walker. I do like taking him. I have a good, decent amount of him so far. William Stevenson says Justin Fields and Brees equals cheaper Lamar and Henry. In my opinion, I agree. Um, I think it's a good combo. So let's see if I can end up with Fields later. So you know, getting Kenneth Walker in the 4th round is nice though. Brommel says ended up doing a Philly stack with Barkley, Brown, and Hurts. Like that a lot. Doing an FFWC draft right now. Do like FFWC. That's a good format as well. I'm gonna jump in a few more of those as well this year. I'm gonna do a couple of those super flex $55 ones as well. Kind of like that format. Mile High Luke says the girl is in bed. I'm up for a bit longer and chilling, debating jumping in a draft somewhere. Yeah, jump into a drafters. Drafters got the super flex. I've been doing like that. You got the underdog, or DraftKings. Jay Wimmer says I'm splitting about 50-50 between the two this year, between the cut line and the Rotowire OC. Mile High Luke. Oh man, that year with Dobbins killed me too. After that first drive where he smashed and scored the first tee. Yeah, I mean that was, dude. I was I was elated because, I was rooting for the guy. Man, he's been through so much, and he looked great on that first drive, and then to see him go down, yeah, that killed me too, man. I had so many shares of him and Chubb. That was a rough year a couple of years ago. What up, dude? Says Jamie. D Mills says Worthy as my wide receiver 1. Yikes. Again, I think Rice is going to be out 6 games. So give Worthy now 2nd year in the system. Chiefs receivers always start slow. Again, ideally you don't want him as your wide receiver 1. But again, I have Bijan, Bucky, and Brees. So I have 3 strong running backs. I'm confident that I could fill this wide receiver room in. But normally I don't start with 3 running backs. So this is a little bit of a different build. Jamie, our boy, says, "Yo, what up, dude?" I already called you out. But I'll put you up again, man. Jay Wimmer says, "My best year ever was taking Larry Johnson in every league in 2005." Man, Larry Johnson was awesome. Any of those Chiefs running backs, Priest Holmes, freaking Jamal Charles, Larry Johnson. Yeah, man, I won a couple of championships with Priest Holmes. I never really had Larry Johnson though. Larry Johnson went up the deep end a little bit. Is this $1 million draft? No, man, 350, but the grand prize is 250K. The FFPC pays out $1 million, but there's a lot more entries than that. I think there's about 4,000 or 5,000 in this. The FFPC is like, I don't know, it's over 10,000. Forget what it is. With the Jets and more specifically Justin Fields, are you worried at all that Vegas has his stat lines are set like the worst of any starting quarterback in the past 10 years? I just think he's not getting any, it's just sometimes guys are just discredited and not getting enough value. And I love his props, actually. His rushing props are solid. I think he can hit all those numbers. The thing is, if he stays healthy, he's going to do it. A couple of years ago, he missed a month when Daniel Hunter freaking, I think I don't know. He's a bully, Daniel Hunter. He sacked him, knocked him out for a month. So that hurt his numbers. But DJ Moore was having a career year. Fields was having a pretty decent season. And, his numbers weren't great with Pittsburgh last year, but they were efficient. So, again, Justin Fields, this is a guy that ran for 1,000 yards. One of 3 quarterbacks in NFL history to do so. So, take that rushing prop all day. I think he hits that easy. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but I know they're pretty low, like you just indicated. Yeah, exactly. 2 years ago, kill me with running back. Then I pushed running back last year. You already know how that went for me. All right, back up here and a few picks. So again, start the draft off with Bijan, Bucky, Brees, Xavier Worthy. Definitely a little bit of a different build here. We got 4 quarterbacks off the board: Josh Allen, Lamar, Jaden, and Joey Burrow. There goes Zay Flowers. I've been drafting a lot of Zay Flowers. There's some good picks at receiver still here, so I feel fine. I got to take 2 receivers here. I'm gonna have to fade quarterback and tight end while I grab my receivers, and that's fine because there's a couple quarterbacks that I like a lot later on. You know, and everybody says that every year. You can wait on quarterbacks. You can wait on quarterbacks, and it always looks good in the drafts. Then we get into the season, and Josh Allen smashes every week. Lamar Jackson smashes every week. And meanwhile, you're playing matchups, and it doesn't always work out. You can get burnt by a Jordan Love. You can get burnt by a CJ Stroud like last year. So, we say it every year. There's wait on quarterbacks, but it's good to pay the premium for these guys because you just know what they're going to give you 20, 30. And they're going to give you those 40-point games. Just absolutely go off. So, even Jaden Daniels, it's his second year. Could he regress? He could. We've only seen 1 year out of him. It's possible. I mean, I don't think he's going to regress as a passer. But again, if Terry doesn't get into the building, the receiver room's not going to look good. I know they got Debo, but not having McLaurin's going to hurt. Then defensive coordinators can figure things out. Cliff Kingsbury has, his offenses have kind of faded in the wind too. So again, you always expect these things to happen with these quarterbacks in their second year after just 1 year. And he could be fragile too. He could get hurt. I mean, he didn't look the same after he got hurt in that Panthers game for about a month last year. So, but don't get me wrong. I love Jaden Daniels. I'll be drafting him. I'm just saying that when you take Allen and Lamar, it's like you just know what you're going to get. And Allen's never missed a game. So it's like he's a machine. All right. So what do I want to do at receiver? Man. I think I got to take Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, used to be a second-round pick. Now you get him around 5. Again, Tua, no more Jonnu. Hopefully they're throwing downfield more this year. Get these guys involved. Again, I was going to take Tyreek earlier. I was obviously rather have Tyreek than Waddle, but 3-round discount. I don't mind it. Waddle, again, 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons until last year. Him and Tyreek were just, Tua was hurt. They were hurt. It's a shit show. Just 2 touchdowns. So maybe Miami figures something out. Maybe McDaniels switches some things up in his offense. Maybe that's why he's like, I love Jonnu, but can't have 97,000 dump offs anymore. We got to start getting the ball to Waddle and Tyreek. So we'll see what happens. Laporte is a nice value, I think. He's kind of being discredited. He finished the season strong last year. 3 touchdowns in his last 4 games. 6 for 64, 7 for 63, 6 for 51. He was coming in the year a little bit banged up. After finishing, I think the tight end 2 years ago, it was the first tight end off the board, or one of the first tight ends off the board, 889 yards, 10 touchdowns. So, I mean, we could see him having a revival. He's a nice little value. And actually, I could go tight end here, but I think I need to grab one more receiver. And again, I think, for waiting on receivers and taking 3 running backs, ending up with Worthy and Jalen Waddle is not the worst thing in the world. So there's still some depth. There's still some good picks at receiver. There's one guy that I want to get that I haven't been getting, that every time I keep missing him. I mean, I actually I kind of switched up what I wanted to do in this draft, and we're paused right now. I guess somebody had a mispick. He wanted a Dunze over Olave, so Olave is back on the board. Jay confirms 16,500 entries. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate that. That's why they pay out $1 million for the grand prize. But obviously much harder to win that contest. But same league prize, 1,500. Same entry point, 350. Great year to fade quarterback and tight end, though. Yeah, I mean, on the surface, it definitely seems like it. 100%. There is a lot of guys that I like taking later, but even Tucker Kraft, like I've been taking a lot of him. I think he pulled a groin today. So I don't know if I'll be drafting him tonight. Plus, I have 1 million shares of Tucker Kraft already. Jay says, nice value, a quarterback coming for someone for sure. Great wide receivers still out there. Yeah, definitely some good receivers still out there. And also 4,176 in the OC last year in this contest. So 250K to the overall winner. If you win your league, 1,500. Q Sam Malone with the groin injury. All right, so there goes Harvey. I got to start getting him. That's probably what since I went 3 running backs in this draft, my next draft I'll probably start with 3 receivers, and then I'll probably try to grab like RJ Harvey and Caleb Johnson. And I'd love to take Caleb Johnson actually right here, but the question is do I go Olave or Addison? Addison is facing a suspension. Olave obviously has a better chance to be the number 1. I've been passing on Olave and taking Shaheed later. But again, Olave was a second-round pick. Waddle was a second-round pick. Now I'm getting around 6. Tyler Shuck, I think he's decent enough that he can get these guys the ball. You got Brandon Cooks there. Kellen Moore running the offense. I do like Caleb Johnson. I got to get more of him. But with this build, I got to get in the receiver. So let's go Chris Olave. I have taken Jordan Addison a couple times. He's probably facing 2-3 game suspension, I guess. So hey, why not? This is a different type of build. 3 running backs, but you can still come out with some pretty solid receivers. And again, there's a lot of tight ends left. There's a lot of quarterbacks left, and I'm going to grab 2 of them, maybe 3. We'll see. I've grabbed 3 at times. And there's another quarterback that people, are discrediting, giving no credit to, that could smash fantasy, that I'll probably click on later as well. So again, many different ways to build your teams. We'll see how this one comes out, but I like it so far. 3 strong running backs, 3 strong receivers. I mean, 2 potential number 1 receivers in Worthy and Olave. If Rice is suspended the 6 games, Worthy's going to take that number 1 spot. Of course, when Rice comes back, Worthy's not going to be as effective, but I'll take it. And, a lot of people don't like Worthy, but, I mean, he's legit. I mean, him and Mahomes missed deep maybe 6 or 7 times. Couple Worthy's fault, but there was some times where Worthy just beat his guy outright, maybe 3 or 4 times, and Mahomes just overthrew him or just, threw it to the left, threw it to the right. So that connection should get better. And there was the receiver that I wanted to take, Ricky Pearsall. But again, I just never end up with him. And he's got some big hype today. Him and Purdy connecting in camp. Supposedly showed a strong connection. It's going to happen too when Jennings is out, Ayuk's out, Cowling's hurt. So everybody's freaking banged up. But I do like Ricky Pearsall this year. I like taking him. So, I could have took him over. I could have took him over Olave. I mean, I guess I could have did that. But just for what the spot I was in, didn't really work out. So I got to start getting myself some Ricky Pearsall again. I think he runs his out route. I think is one of the best. He runs like the most crispiest out route, man. So, bold move by the Niners too. They took Pearsall over Ladd, which I thought was a mistake. But Pearsall, I think is going to be a nice piece for them, and everything he overcame. Obviously, you know, big props to him. All right, so Team 4 starts with 3 receivers, the opposite of me. Then gets Kyron, which is a nice piece. Then gets Ridley and Ibuka. So, I probably would have taken a running back there instead of Ibuka. I probably would have took Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson would have been a nice piece for him there. Especially with Rodgers now, that helps the offense. No more freaking Mason Rudolph running the show. Team 11 has the same start as me. Goes Genty, Henry, Chase Brown. So it's the battle of the running backs between me and him. But then he goes Sutton, grabs his quarterback in Burrow and grabs Addison. So I grab 3 receivers. He grabs a quarterback, but he's got Joe Burrow. So no stack. And Burrow is capable. Burrow could just have a monster season once again. He could throw, he could get to the 40 touchdown range. But I don't know what their defense is going to be. Is it going to be much improved? Lou Anarumo's gone, new coordinator. I know Lou Anarumo was solid for a long time there, but now he's gone. So their defense, I don't know. It's probably going to be shitty again. And you got Chase and Higgins. Again, Higgins has a tough time staying healthy. Burrow has a tough time staying healthy. He's kind of been banged up too. Then he grabs Matthew Golden. So, good strategy there too. So him and I have the similar builds. Let's see what quarterback I end up with. And if you've been watching my drafts, you kind of know who I'll be taking. Should be 2-3 for Addison. I agree, Jay. Luke says, hopefully this one little birdie makes it back. I'll mention when he goes or you're up. Worthy will be number 1 until Rice comes back. Yeah. Hollywood's there, but Hollywood was there, a few games down the stretch. Again, you could say maybe he was hurt all year and he didn't really get to the offense like Worthy did, but I just think Worthy just gives him a little bit more of a dynamic. And I think he will be the number 1. So I'm not really worried too much about Hollywood Brown, affecting Xavier Worthy. The Chiefs offense is going to be substantially better this year. I'm saying that every single Chiefs player will pay off at their ADP. They should be. They got to get away from, Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, just, and little dinky dunk passes. So that's what I'm saying. Him and Worthy should be able to connect more. If you get Hollywood healthy, he could be a deep threat for you. Kelsey looks rejuvenated. And then, they'll get Rashee Rice back at some point. So they definitely should be better because they can't keep winning games like they have been the past couple of years. It kind of blew up in their face. They're kind of living on the edge and it blew up in the Super Bowl. So I'm sure Andy Reid's got some things up his sleeve. But we'll see. Maybe the Chiefs have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover too. That is possible. But Mahomes, for where he's going, it's a good value for Mahomes this year. Could definitely get back on track fantasy-wise. What are we looking at? Jawan Jennings has a calf injury. He wants to get paid. It's supposed to be minor, the calf injury. Sometimes those calf injuries turn into Achilles injuries. Tyrese Halliburton. Does Quidshawn Junkins get suspended for the year? I guess that's a possibility. Who knows? TJ Hawkinson has a groin injury. Kind of like his value here. I hate groin injuries though. Noticeable limp that just happened today. So, groin injuries can linger. They can pop back up. My boy Kraft's hurt. So, I like to take Hawkinson here. Tony Pollard is a good pick here. I've been taking a lot of him. Debo's sitting there. Khalil Shakir's hurt. Debo hurt his hand today too. Did an interview. If you guys saw it today, did an interview with NFL Network, and they said at the end, I tried to shake his hand, but his finger was hurt. And then Debo was looking all pissed off. I guess he didn't want to reveal it, but it looks like he's fine, so I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I've been drafting a decent amount of Debo, but yeah, we're gonna go Debo here. Debo in the 7th. Quarterbacks, still a lot of guys. Bo Nix. I haven't been drafting. I keep saying I want to get some of them, but I don't know when I'm going to get him because I feel like there's other quarterbacks I can just wait on. They'll be better or about the same. So it's just like they're all kind of the same, these guys. Well, a lot of these guys are the same. So it's like you could just wait at this point. Now, do I want to grab another receiver here? I have 4 now. Could grab another running back. Could go back to running back here. Or I could jump to tight end. Again, I would normally take Hawkinson here. I don't like the freaking groin injury. But it's August 2nd. We got over a month till we play football. So I could wait on tight end though too. But really, for me now, it's like grabbing the best player on the board since I have 4 receivers and I have 3 running backs. So I'm kind of just, I don't know. Jaden Reed, I don't know. You got Gold in there now. You got Dobbs. There's no Watson in the mix, but he's going to be spotty, Jaden Reed. He's going to be tough to decide when to start him. I don't think he's going to emerge as the number 1 guy. I don't think any of those guys are really going to be – it's just going to be spread around. Plus, they want to run the football. Maybe not as much as they did last year, but I mean, the receivers are getting a little hit. I probably should grab one more. Shakir got his foot rolled up on today, or yesterday. So I don't know what his deal is. They paid him. He plays with Josh Allen. He's a nice depth piece to have. Mooney's banged up. Ayuk's banged up. We don't know if Mooney's going to be back for week 1. Keon Coleman is up and down. Got a million shares of Brian Robinson. TJ Hawkinson. I don't know what to do here. I don't want Pittman. Jaden Reed. Or Shakir. You know what? I'll take Jaden Reed. Why not? My 4th receiver. A lot of comments from Luke here. I think the Chiefs can technically still win that way. They have because they have a top 10 defense. You stop that. You stop that. It's we're playing over Slender. I don't know, man. Like, can they? Can they? All those freaking close games, all those lucky ass wins. Can they keep doing that? I mean, obviously that's how Reed wants to play. They want to run the football. They want to play defense, but I think they got to try to open up this offense a little bit more. And they couldn't really do that because they had so many guys hurt last year. So if they can get and they were kind of forced to do that, I guess. But ever since they lost Tyreek, it's kind of switched up. So we'll see if they have a healthy Hollywood and Rice and Worthy and Jalen Royals, who I think is a good pick. Um, and I think he could do a lot of the things Rice can do. So I feel like Royals could, he could end up like producing off the jump. Now they start slow with their receivers, but like you kind of see like Worthy and Worthy's has a different role than Rice. I feel like Royals they took him for like the after the catch. He's good after the catch. I don't know, man. Royals is very interesting to me, so I like that pick. They have a lot more depth. Stephon Diggs, nah, not a big Diggs guy, man. I've kind of given up on Diggs again. 31 ACL was kind of regressing in Buffalo. Was having a good season. That's true with Houston before he got hurt, and he does look healthy. But yeah, at this point I'm done with Diggs. I like Hawkinson, man, because I like McCarthy. And I think that Vikings offense is going to pop. Now he's 2 years removed from his injury, but the groin injury I don't like right now. So the end of the interview was hilarious. Yeah, I mean it was a pretty calm interview, and then all of a sudden at the end, Devo just got all pissed off, and Garoppolo, whatever his last name is, he was like bugging out. Drake May, good pick, I think. Yeah, I mean the rushing upside there. Jay says just grab a decent number 2 if you do go Hawk. Hawk goes there, so that's over. But yeah, good point. Could have did that. I've seen people go Bo Nix over Mahomes, makes me throw up in my mouth. Ingram and Andrews are my guys here. I have been taking a lot of Andrews. Yeah, my 5th receiver, Jay. You're right. My bad. Wasn't even looking at the board, man. I lost track there. So, yeah, now I got to go back to running back, or quarterback or tight end. We'll see. But the receivers kind of start to drop off now. I mean, they've already kind of dropped off, but they get a little bit worse. That's just like where I take Rashid Shaheed in like almost every draft. I have so much Rashid Shaheed. That's why I was happy I got Olave for once. But you could argue that Shaheed might be the better pick. He might be the better receiver, production-wise. It's possible. I think last year was the year the NFL should have kept the Chiefs out of the Super Bowl. That offense with Simmons at LT is going to completely change the offense. Good point. If Mahomes can actually sit in the pocket for the first time in 2 years, it's definitely going to look different. Andrews is on a revenge tour. I agree. I think that, likely's banged up. He might not even be back for a while. They're saying he's not week 1, so that definitely helps Andrews. Good point there. And I agree. Like everybody's kind of down on him because he dropped that pass in the game against the Bills. And, he had the slow start last year, but he finished the season very, very strong. So we'll see. I mean, Andrews is gone, but I've taken a lot of Mark Andrews already. So what do you guys think of Travis Etienne? I did a draft the other night. I think I took Etienne and I took Tootin. I feel like Etienne could have a rebound season, but I kind of like Tootin. Tootin's kind of intriguing, but then you got Bigsby, so it could just be a crowded backfield there too. And one of these guys just may never be that great because they just may mix in all 3 guys, which is possible. So I don't know. I've been kind of hesitant to take Etienne, although he's very, very intriguing. I was taking Najee a lot early, and he was seen in practice today, which is good. Was in a helmet and a weighted vest. So we don't know really what the hell's going on with that eye still. But it's good that he's at least in a helmet, or maybe he's just doing that, to cover his eyes and not look suspicious by wearing sunglasses. So we don't know. So yeah, at this point, I'm kind of halting on Najee, although he's a good value still. And I think it's going to be a 50-50 split, or I at least thought it was going to be a 50-50 split. Um, but now with the eye thing, it might change. Hampton had that one nice run. He broke the tackle. And then the other run, he tried to cut it to the outside. He probably should just use his strength there. One thing I noticed about Hampton, though, his feet are kind of slow. He doesn't have the quickest feet. So he's got to use his power a little bit more. But once he gets his momentum, he can break those tackles, but he could go down kind of easy too. So, I think he's in a great situation. I don't know if he's, the second most talented running back in the draft. I think Caleb Johnson's better, but that's just me. So let's see, guys. Quarterbacks, we're in round 9. There's still got Knicks. We still got Goff. We still got Murray. I'm not taking Caleb. Dak he's interesting, but he doesn't really run anymore. But again, he threw for 4,500 yards 2 years ago and 36 touchdowns. He was in the MVP conversation until the end. 32 now. Does not run like he used to, which hurts his fantasy numbers, but he does, he is capable of throwing for 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns, especially now with Pickens and their defense. Who knows what freaking's going to happen with Micah Parsons. Cam Scatabo, another guy who's hurt day to day with a hamstring injury. I've been taking a lot of him. I think he's one of the better picks right here. Njoku is on the board. I really haven't been taking a lot of Njoku. Tyler Warren is there. I just got my first share of him the other night. So I'm going to grab either Njoku or Warren here. I think. Maybe grab a running back and then wait on quarterback. We'll see what gets taken. Or maybe I'll grab my quarterback here and just get it over with. But it might be a little early. But if I wait, I could get pushed out of the guy that I want to take. Do you guys believe in Javonte Williams? I can't do it. But I mean, if he's the number one there, he's getting the goal line work. He could end up with like 8-9 touchdowns, I guess. Because they're going to be in scoring position a lot. I can't with Javonte. I was never into him even when he was a rookie. And I think I've drafted him maybe twice in all the drafts I've done since he was a rookie. My boy Shaheed is still sitting there, but I think I'll have to let somebody else take him. There goes Njoku. So let's take Tyler Warren. I like it. I was listening to the reports today at a Colts camp. They're moving him around just like Penn State did. They're using him in the backfield. And I've been saying this for a while, and I've started to hear some other people started to say it too, that Tyler Warren could end up with like 3-4 passing, rushing touchdowns. The same thing that happened in Penn State. They could have, especially with Anthony Richardson, they could really mix it up. So, I mean, all the reports are, he's been awesome. He's looked great. we're going to try a bunch of different stuff with him, give a bunch of shots at different aspects, playing offensive football again. So maybe he doesn't catch a ton of balls. Um, maybe his touchdowns. Maybe he could finish with like double-digit touchdowns. Maybe there's a world where that happens. But hey, round 9, I'll take it. He probably, in my opinion, he should have been the first tight end taken off the board over Loveland. Now, do I take a quarterback or do I go back to running back or a receiver? Get Shaheed in the Colts stack. I mean, the Colts stack, the Saints stack. No. Although I think I had one draft where I came out with Shaheed, Olave, maybe Kamara. I don't know how the hell that happened, but Jaden Blue, Najee's still sitting there. Cam might drop a little bit here. There goes Nick Chubb. Tootin is also hurt. He's got a little bit of a hammy, but he's expected back next week. I did go to the Jags camp on Tuesday. I'll talk about that in a sec, what I saw there. Tootin was not there. So let's just get it over with. I mean, I know he normally goes like round 11. But I'll push him up and I'll take my boy Fields just to make sure I get him here. Because I'm going to be picking towards the back end of round 11 anyway. And there might be a little bit of a quarterback run. It's possible he might go. So I'll just take him. Not a big deal. And there's a couple running backs there that I can take that I'm happy with. So I think I should be able to get one of them, I think. One or two of them. Whatever. Back to you guys' comments now that I got a little of a break. I am Team Tank. Frank Tank. Do you just not like Tracy or really like Scatabo? I just think Scatabo is going to get, I like Tracy. I think Tracy's pretty solid. But he kind of faded down the stretch a little bit last year. Some fumbling issues. And I think Scatabo is underrated as a receiver. Now, I know Tracy's a converted wide receiver, but I think Scatabo could get those goal line carries. He's a strong back, and he's an underrated receiver too. So I think it could be like a 50-50 split between those guys. And I just like the upside and the value of him in that spot. So, no, I do like I think Tracy's pretty solid. But I think Scatabo could kind of win that job from him. Njoku, I was going to take him. He's gone. 2 quarterbacks already taken to your left. You have 4 teams after you need a quarterback. So, yeah, that's why I took Fields. You never know. I mean, we could get it. Here comes the quarterback run now. So there goes Prescott. There goes Nick. Some guys may go double on quarterbacks like this guy. He has Mahomes and Knicks now. The Mayfield guy may take another quarterback. We'll see. The Allen and Lamar guys probably won't. Obviously, not till later. And then teams 10, 11, and 12 all need quarterbacks. I mean, teams 10 and 12 need quarterbacks. And team 8 still needs one as well. Javonte was top 5 in RB targets last year, and still that's because he catches the ball and he goes like 3 yards and he falls down. I mean, I don't know, like his thing when he came out of college was like he could break tackles left and right. And I always get iffy on those stats, the broken tackle stats. Even though he looked great in college breaking tackles, but he just like was so slow moving, and sometimes it doesn't convert to the NFL. Now he did tear his ACL. That knee injury could have just changed his whole career path. And he kind of hasn't looked the same since his rookie year. So I just was never really high on him. He's just never really an explosive guy. Um, so I don't know. You got Miles Sanders there. He's shown some flashes, but last year, he's Chuba Hubbard, just totally destroyed him. His career kind of fell off. And then you got Jaden Blue, who, I don't know. I'm not so high on Jaden Blue either. It's just going to be a mishmash backfield. I don't know what the hell is going to happen there. I like Chubb a lot since going to Houston, have him on 2 or 3 big gorillas so far. What are your thoughts on that backfield? Yeah, I mean Mixon, I think there's a chance he could get back in week 1. But I'm taking Chubb too, man, in a lot of leagues. Let me scroll this draft board down a little bit for you guys. Because I just think I'm rooting for him. It's the same thing with Dobbins. He went through all those injuries, and Dobbins didn't have kind of the mileage that Chubb did. But I mean, Chubb a couple of years ago was one of the best running backs in the league, and it's the same injury. He's had the same knee injury twice, which is scary. He may never be the same again. But I don't know, man. This guy just looks like he's working his balls off, and I think he's in a good situation now. Mixon's a little bit banged up. Woody Marks will probably be like the receiving option. All those balls he caught in college. Chubb will be getting the goal line carries if Mixon's out. He'll be getting the short yardage work. That's an offense that's definitely going to be moving the ball. I know Chubb has relied on, a lot of big runs in his career. And, maybe doesn't have that anymore. But again, for the price you're paying, the reward outweighs the risk. And, a couple of years ago, again, this guy was one of the most talented backs, and he's still pretty young, fairly young, with not a ton of mileage. It's just that he's had some, a devastating injury. So we'll see. But again, I think he's worth the reward. I think Scatterbo is going to try and run to the wrong linebacker and lose an arm. That could happen. Scatterbo could be one of those guys that is just more meant for the college game than the NFL. That's possible too. But I like the kid's motor, his attitude, his strength, his receiving skills. Just looks like a baller to me, and I think he'll have a pretty good career in the NFL. But we'll see. When Chubb chose to go to Houston, he did it because he knew Mixon was still hurt, and the team wanted him. Chubb is 2 years removed from that injury, and he's a beast. If Mixon can excel there, Chubb definitely can. If Chubb is healthy, or at least, I guess 90% or 80, 90%, I guess, of what he used to be, or 85, 90 and higher, I agree, man. I mean, he should be very, very solid there. Now, their offensive line is a question. But that was more so for the pass blocking. Mixon was still pretty good, and he's catching a bunch of balls at the backfield. They may use Woody Marks for that. But yeah, I'm rooting for Chubb. The price is good situation. So definitely a guy I want to draft. Jay says Chubb didn't have much of a choice, not a lot of interest in him, and that's true too. I mean, a lot of teams will just give up on you. Yeah, the O-line is bad, but with that spread offense and as good of a passing game they have, they'll live in the red zone. Yeah, I mean, and now they bring in, Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, Jalen Noel. So Stroud should have a bounce back. It's just going to be interesting to see how that offensive line works out, because they gave up some talent. They moved on, supposedly, like Tunzel, and they're one of their other offensive linemen. Were like just causing so many problems. They wouldn't listen to the coaches, whatever. So that's why they shipped them off. 2 in good pick here in the 11th round. Like that, Ramondre. So the backs have gotten slim. Let's see if there's anything left for me here at the running back position. So I started with 4 strong backs. Now it's getting kind of weak. But if Rachaad White is still there, I guess I should take him. I don't ever really take Rachaad White, but I have Bucky Irving, so it makes sense. And my boy Shaheed is still sitting there. Bateman, I think, is a good pick. I think McMillan is an underrated pick. I mean, I don't know. Ibuka, good, but McMillan could be really nice still, even with Ibuka there. So, and if Godwin's out for a little while, I don't know. We'll see how it all works out. I just think McMillan is being kind of discredited, and he really showed out last year. And you could argue he's better than the Dunze for fantasy, or just as good coming out of Washington last year. Strong stretch, 4 touchdowns his last 4 games, 5 for 57, 5 for 51, 2 touchdowns, 5 for 74 and a touchdown. Actually, no, he went off from week 14, 4 for 59, 2 touchdowns, 5 for 75 and a touchdown, 5 for 57 and a touchdown, 5 for 51, 2 touchdowns, and 5 for 74. McMillan was red hot down the stretch. And now nobody really wants him because of Ibuka. And there goes Shaheed. Which is fine because, again, I have a million shares of him. And I don't really want 2 Saints anyway. Rashad White, never take him. Let's see if he goes here. I'd rather have him. I don't really want Rico Dowdle. Braylon Allen is a guy I could have took too because I have Breece Hall. But I think Isaiah Davis is going to mix in. Marshall Lloyd is a guy I took a lot of, but he's hurt now. All right, so let's take Rashad White because I have Bucky. And so I got that Tampa backfield on lock. I mean, do I really want to hold Rashad White? Is he going to have flex value? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe. I guess he could. But Bucky could just completely take over. But they could continue to mix in those 2 guys. Again, he caught 51 balls last year for 6 touchdowns. He just got dusted at the end. I mean, he really didn't do anything down the stretch. So I don't know if he has flex value anymore with the emergence of Bucky. We'll see. Xavier Legette had a big play in camp today. I think a 45-yard touchdown. Legette, working with the route god, working on his route running. I did like Legette last year. I had a lot of him. Then I kind of pulled back. I was watching a little more and I didn't like him as much. Still a little raw as a receiver. Again, only really had that 1 year, big year in college at South Carolina. But, Bryce Young's getting better. Now they got Tet there and take some pressure off Legette. Got Thielen too. So that offense should be a lot better. Legette, not a bad pick there in round 11. Christian Kirk, man, interesting pick here. But I think I'm going to go to tight end. Might go back to tight end. Pair somebody else with Warren. Because I do have 5 receivers. I do like Bateman. I do like McMillan. Kirk, I think, is going to win the slot job there. I mean, I like Jalen Noel, but I think Kirk is he's the veteran, man. He knows he's been in that position. And it's a good spot for Christian Kirk. But they could mix in Jalen Noel. They still got John Mechie. I don't know what they're going to do. I had high hopes for John Mechie. He went through a lot. ACL tear, then the cancer. He just never – I just thought he'd be better. Get 2nd-round pick out of Alabama. So they got a lot of depth at the receiver position. They bring in Higgins. There goes Tucker Kraft. He, again, pulls up with a groin injury today. We'll see what happens. I love Tucker Kraft, though, late. I got a ton of them. There goes Kyle Pitts. Likely's hurt. So, the running backs, at this point, I don't really like any of these guys. I can wait on these other guys. I'm not going to double up on quarterback yet. So let's go Dalton Kincaid for a bounce back. And there's a lot of different reports on Kincaid. Was he hurt? Was it because he couldn't block? They didn't want to put him in 11 personnel. So I mean, I look at his rookie year, and 73 catches, 673 yards, just 2 touchdowns. And then last year, the ball was spread around so much. I mean, Matt Collins led the team in touchdowns. They drafted Keon Coleman. They had Curtis Samuel there. And now they got Elijah Moore. I think they still have Curtis Samuel. They bring in Josh Palmer as well. So it could just be like, it could just be a total spread around again. And it might just be tough to bank on Kincaid. But I feel like one of these guys has to be like a go-to, almost like a go-to guy, or a guy that really develops a deep chemistry with Allen. And that's kind of been Shakir, but I feel like Kincaid can kind of do it. But we'll see. I mean, I liked him a ton. Loved his talent coming out. Had a great rookie season. Just last year was banged up, had an MCL injury. Him and Allen seemed to kind of misconnect a bunch of times. So, whatever. 12th pick, second tight end. We'll see what happens. But again, playing with Josh Allen. But it's so spread around. All right, back to the comments. As we get a little bit of a break here again, let me pull the draft board down. Any Bills that you guys like specifically, or that are your style here? That's the top end of the draft board. I'll let you stare at that for a minute, then I'll scroll down. How do you rank Higgins, Burden, Trey Harris? I think I like Trey Harris the most with Herbert, and then I'd probably go Higgins and then Burden. But Higgins could be better than Trey Harris, but I think I because Trey Harris still has to deal with Quentin Johnson a little bit. Now, Quentin Johnson obviously has had his struggles, and that may not take long for him before he emerges. But I think it's close between those two. And then Burden I'd put third, because you got freaking Odunze, you got DJ Moore, you got freaking Loveland, and it's Caleb. The quarterback play is better with Stroud and definitely Herbert. All right, I'll scroll this down. There goes Quentin Johnson. Just talking about him. Demario Douglas, not a bad pick here. Jalen Wright looks like he'll be the backup. We heard Tyreek talking about give the ball to Jalen Wright in short yardage and on the goal line. I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, it's like they're just running Achane into the ground, give him a million passes, running. I went to that game with the Bills Dolphins last year, and Achane was coming into that game with a high ankle sprain, and they were getting blown out in the second half, and they were still throwing the ball to Achane with 2 out. So, I mean, it's just like he was just running them into the freaking ground. I mean, could have used a little bit of Jalen Wright there, or maybe I think Jeff Wilson was still on or Moser was still on the team. McMillan was a better prospect than Polk. And to your point, kept up production-wise with Roman College. Yeah, I didn't like Polk at all. I thought McMillan was definitely ahead of him. I didn't draft any Polk last year. I did draft some McMillan. I didn't, Dunze, I just didn't like where he was going. I thought he was going too high last year, and I didn't really trust Caleb. So I didn't really have any. I don't think I drafted a Dunze in one league last year. So I think McMillan and Dunze are pretty close talent-wise. They're kind of different. McMillan's more of a separator. Dunze is more of a 50-50 guy. There he goes. There goes Jalen McMillan. Yeah, when they were actually on the field together, because McMillan was banged up a lot in college. Giddens, that is a good guy to look at. Lloyd has been hurt since the fourth grade. I mean, his last year, the guy was out, before the season started. Then he came back and he He was out for like 19 weeks, and then he came back and he hurt his appendix. Now he's hurt again, and he's getting good camp reports too. I do like his talent. But the last guy running back I liked from USC, Ronald Jones, that didn't work out too well. I think Tampa Bay is a good offense to invest in, but I also do think it's going to regress a bit. So picking the right couple players will be important there. Could regress. Didn't regress too much after Canales. Actually got better. So we'll see what happens now with the Gizzard, Nick Swisher calling the plays. Hunter Henry, yeah, not a bad tight end pick as well late. Nice. I like Kincaid too. Good tight end too because of the injury risk, but his metrics are actually pretty good. Yeah, he's talented. This is the one thing I get concerned about is the Bills just spreading the ball around so much. But I think Allen has to kind of get a guy that's like almost like a true go-to guy, you know. But we'll see if that happens this year. It might not happen for a couple more years. Jay says not a bad tight end too at all. And every Russian quarterback has to change their game to more passing or they'll expire like Cam Newton. Josh has talked about throwing more like 3 years, but we'll actually have to do it some year. You could still be like a Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah, kind of adapt your game to a Ben Roethlisberger where you're kind of just running when you need to. They do design runs for Josh, and he's still definitely capable of doing that for a few more years. But yeah, at some point, they'll definitely have to wind it back and take their spots with it to keep him upright. But Allen's a machine. Right now, he's a machine. I don't really have any concerns about him. Right now, at least for the next couple of years. Mile High Luke says Team 9 is similar to a few of mine, and Jay says he likes Team 5. Team 5, Jefferson, Bowers, Allen, DJ Moore, JMO, Caleb. Yeah, I like that. Cam, Shaheed. Yeah, I like that build. Team 11. Team 9, rather. McCaffrey, Nico, Devontae, Kamara, Connor. He's got the veteran running backs that just continue to produce every single year with McCaffrey. Man, that is a good build. I kind of like that too. Godwin, we'll say the receivers past Nico and Devontae a little bit questionable, but the running backs pretty solid. And Nico, Devontae. Connor said today that him and Trey Benson are both RB1s, and Benson's going to get a lot more carries this year. We'll see. Connor is probably just going to maintain that number one role. I think we'll see a little bit of Benson here or there, but I think until Connor's out of the way, Benson's not going to have a ton of value. And then Kamara, he could get traded to a winner at some point. So he might have a really good situation. Either way, he's in a good situation because he's going to get so much usage, and he's such a good player and receiving back. But Kendrick Miller should get some more room. All right, I'm back on the clock here. Talking a little too much there. Okay. What do you guys think about Roshan? I'm going to take Kyle Williams. I like him a lot. Liked him a lot coming out. The camp reports are all, very, very good on him. I like Jack Betch too, but everybody's talking about Thornton there. Betch is going to have to work his way in a little bit more. Nothing really positive about Betch so far, but I feel like he could emerge at some point this season. I like his talent a lot. And Jay says, like your build over Team 11 that also started 3 running backs. Let's see how he ended up. So yeah, he went with 3 running backs. Then he got Sutton, Burrow, Addison, Golden, Higgins. Not bad. Ingram. Yeah, I mean, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. I think his team's pretty strong, though. All right. Where am I going back to now? Could probably use another running back. And again, now is the point where you just want to start snatching guys. Forget about the ADPs. Just snatch the guys out of the sky. I have so much of these guys. I'm kind of interested in Roshan. Is Jamie still in the room? Jamie, you still here? If Jamie's still here, I'll maybe take Roshan for him. Jamie is there goes Roshan. So I can't get Jamie is like the king. If you guys know Jamie, he's the king of the Roshan Johnson fan club. I liked Roshan, but then he got hurt. That freaking concussion just hasn't looked that great in the NFL so far. I can't draft Rico Dowdle. I don't know. It's a good offense though. 2.7 million. So they barely paid him. I don't really think he's anything that good. I mean, he just got so much work with the Cowboys last year. And then Chuba's there, ETN. I don't know. I can't get into him. I don't know if I should take JJ McCarthy here. Now let's switch it up here. I've been drafting a ton of him. Jarquez Hunter. Give me him again. Why not? And I know Kyron's got that job on lock, but a lot of uses for Kyron. So he's been very durable the past 2 seasons, but maybe he starts to wear down a little bit this year. Maybe this is the year where we see another Rams running back get some more usage. Maybe who the hell knows? Maybe that guy's Corum. I don't know. I mean, I think Hunter's better than Corum, but maybe Corum's just being shit on. But I just think Hunter is kind of reminds me of Kyron a little bit, like a Dobbins type running back. So I'm gonna have to hold him and sit on him for a while. But I mean, if he ever gets an opportunity in that offense, could be lights out. He might be a really, really good pick. All right. Back to the comments. I drove back to KC 2 years ago for the Ice Bowl playoff game, Kansas City versus Miami. Oh man, they had no chance in that game, Miami. I knew that. I bet on that game. Like you can't take a team that just went from like 80 degrees, wherever the hell it was, 70 degrees in Miami, and go to freaking Kansas City. It was -5, whatever the hell it was, with the wind chill. Since they got punked, they gave up in that game. Miami hasn't looked the same. They still have frostbite, I guess. Yeah, good point, man. They haven't looked the same since then. That's the thing about Miami. Like they have to be playing at home in the playoffs. I don't think they'll ever win in Buffalo. If they have to go to Kansas City, they're deep shit. Or like Baltimore. It's tough, man. I'm from Jersey, but I live in Florida now. And like when it gets to like in the 50s, I'm freezing. Like I'm sensitive to it. And I grew up outside, being outside, hanging out outside. When you get older, or I guess maybe I'm older too, but I think when you're in the warm weather all the time, you're used to wearing shorts, t-shirts, you have your shirt off, you can walk outside with your freaking boxers on. It's like 70, 80 degrees. You're just not used to it. You're not used to the cold anymore. So that's why Miami's in deep shit. They're not going to win the division. Swap Godwin with Diggs on 9. The Saints have to keep Kamara in order, keep fans coming to the game. I feel like that's the only reason they paid him. Like they didn't know how bad they were going to be. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why Dennis Allen kept throwing Kamara out there because it was saving his job, and he didn't want no part of Kendrick Miller. And then once Dennis Allen was fired, you saw Kendrick Miller out there. But we'll see. We'll see if they keep Kamara or if they ship him out. I just think there's a chance they could trade him. Kyle feels like a best ball guy, but I'm also very high on Diggs. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he could very well be. I think he could be better than Douglas, though. So I feel like, if Diggs is the number one, Williams could be the number 2. But you got Boudet. I mean, he showed some signs last year. So I don't know. It could just be a crowded room there as well. Luke likes my build over Team 11 as well. Thanks, bro. Giddens is a great cuff. Yeah, I took Taylor the other night, and I was trying to get Giddens to back up Taylor, but somebody sniped me on that. So, but I do like having him as the backup. Yeah, that was my issue with 11. Going to be hard to find 3-wide receivers to start early. True. Golden, Higgins. Yeah, but yeah, it's true. My receivers are stronger overall, I think. Do you tend to avoid running backs that get big usage the year before, or will you still take those guys but maybe prioritize their backups as a way to cap? No, I mean, like Saquon, I'm not really fading because it's Saquon now. Like like Josh Jacobs, I think he could have a little bit of a fall off this year. I mean, think about a couple of years ago with the Raiders, he had that huge workload, and then he wasn't the same the next year. And then he was being discounted. He went to Green Bay, which is a much better situation. But again, another huge workload. There goes Bashard Smith, like taking him as well. So that's why I kind of like taking Marshall and Lloyd. I feel like Marshall and Lloyd had an opportunity. Maybe Jacobs wears down a little bit this year, which is possible. But if the guy's talented enough, like Saquon or like a Henry, then I don't really care about the usage. I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of scared off Saquon, or they just prefer Bijan and Gibbs over Saquon because of the youth and the less usage, which is fine. But I don't think you should be fading Saquon. I mean, he's just too damn good, and this situation is too damn good. So, even he probably won't have the year he did last year, obviously, but still should be very solid. It was 100-degree difference. It was minus 27. Beer was freezing in the cup before we could drink it. Standing on cardboard boxes because your feet were going numb. Shit, man, that's crazy. Minus 27. That is nuts, dude. But did you drink enough where you kind of warmed up at some point, or you were just freaking freezing your nuts off all game? Crazy Saquon with his massive year in 2024, 0 touchdowns from inside the 5. That is nuts. Good stat there. Oh shit, I'm on the clock with 29 seconds left, man. I'm having too much fun talking to you guys. My boy Jack Betch is still sitting there. Nobody wants him. What round are we? 15? All right, I'll take him there. Although I like another rookie too. A lot. I could have taken him. Bashard Smith is gone. So 1, 2, 5 running backs, 7 receivers, 2 tight ends, 1 quarterback. This might be a 3 quarterback build here. Let's see. That's the cool thing I like about FFWC, Jay, is you don't need to take the quarterback. I mean, you don't need to take the kickers and the defenses yet. So you can just keep stacking guys. You just got to be legal by week 1, which is kind of cool. I think all formats should be able to let you do that. That's why it's good to play in all the different formats. You know, everyone is different, a little bit different. Shit. Mm. Hmm. Hmm. Penix. I don't have. Oh shit. I don't normally take Penix, but I do have Bijan. Um, what do I want to do here? Do I want to take Penix and pair him with Bijan? I think Penix could throw 30 touchdowns, maybe 4,000. I think there's a world where he could do that, but maybe not. With Mooney always banged up and Kyle Pitts having to be his second guy, and freaking what's his name? Ray Buchanan, Ray McLeod, number 34, running routes out there. Shit. All right. I'll take Penix because I have Bijan. All right. 2 positional players left. And then I got to go kicker defense. Let's jump back to you guys. See what you're saying. I drank a lot in the car before we went into the stadium. They were letting everybody bring in shooters, had like 7 fireballs on me. Elijah Mitchell, and thank me later. Elijah is healthy and impressing right now. He'll be the number 2 as long as he's healthy. And nobody's even talking about Elijah Mitchell. It's all Brashard Smith. One thing you can say about Elijah Mitchell, he did look good in San Francisco, but obviously that system can make anybody look good, or most running backs look good. Even Patrick Taylor looked pretty good in that system. But Jordan Mason, I think he's a good pick. Still a quality back, and he's in a good situation in Minnesota. So I like drafting him. But yeah, Elijah Mitchell, I've never really been on him. He's very injury prone. It seems like he's always freaking hurt. So I like going after Brashard Smith. But I mean, yeah, that's something to consider. Actually, I'm in a dynasty draft. My last dynasty draft. I'm in 3 of them. We started real late because my cousin runs it, and he was doing a TBT basketball team. He's putting that together, so he took forever to get the league on. But anyway, I was thinking about maybe taking Elijah Mitchell like my last pick because he still hasn't been drafted in that league. Highest paid back in KC is Mitchell. That's crazy. I mean, think about it. They have freaking Hunt. They have Pacheco, who's coming back from the fibula, so he should be better. I mean, Pollard's first year off the fibula, he didn't look that good either. But I kind of like Brashard Smith because he kind of fits that Jerick McKinnon role. So that's why I've been liking to take him. And Jay says, I get the feeling Mile High is a KC fan. I mean, yeah. Do you think, Luke, that the Bills will ever be able to take down the Chiefs? I am most deaf, but normally don't draft my Chiefs. Everybody's just down on the Chiefs offense, so their value everywhere. I was trying to hide my fandom. I think we picked it up, bro. You were at the game, told me to draft 97 different Chiefs. You got Mahomes, I think, in your picture there too. So, actually, my friend out here in Florida, He lived in KC for a little while. He's originally from Jersey. He had to work out in KC before he moved to Florida. So they're all Chiefs fans. He said he used to work out with Jerick McKinnon and see all those guys in his gym. But his kids are big Chiefs fans too. So the last couple of years we've been going. I think the last 3 years we went there to watch the Super Bowl. Finally, the Chiefs lost. It was like Brady, man. Every single year I'd go watch the Super Bowl and Brady just kept winning. And there goes Jalen Royals. I like that pick late. All right, so 2 positional picks left. I'm not going to take a kicker or defense here. We're wrapping this baby up. I appreciate everybody joining us tonight. We'll be done probably in about this draft's kind of going a little bit longer. Probably would be done in about, I guess, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. DeAndre Hopkins. Are you guys drafting him at all? I don't know. I can't. I mean, I can't draft Hopkins. I mean, I guess it's a late pick. It's not terrible. There goes Mason Taylor. I was thinking about taking him as my last picks because I have Fields. So I will have no field stacks unless I could take Josh Reynolds or Alan Lazard. Hopefully he gets shipped off to Pittsburgh at some point. But, big target for Fields. Fields is used to having not the best receiving rooms. Meanwhile, Caleb's getting the red carpet rolled out for him. And he can't even throw the ball into a net from like 5 feet away. Oh, my God. If you guys saw that clip on Twitter. Yeah, Jay, why is this taking forever, man? This is crazy. Dad bod Mahomes. L and the Bills will get the Chiefs when the Chiefs mess it up. They're mind effed against us. Yeah, I think that Reed has freaking McDermott's number. I mean, the points. What are the Chiefs average, like 35 points a game against the Bills defense? I mean, it's just not. They just can never stop them on defense. 0 D Hop for Jay. Mason Taylor, good one. Great. Could be the number 2 target there. Literal dust buckets in New York outside of Wilson and Brees. Yeah, I mean, that's, Reynolds is not a bad piece. Corley, I don't think he's ever going to do anything. Lazard, who the hell knows? He's probably pissed he didn't end up at Pittsburgh with Rodgers. All right, so I wanted Mason Taylor there. Let's see. I got 2 other guys on my mind here. I was thinking about taking Anthony Richardson as well, but I took Penix. I had Kyler Warren too, so and I think Richardson's going to win that job. I do. I think he's looked pretty good, man. I just watched this guy was at camp, or he's been going to camp every day. He posted like, I don't know, 30 of his throws. I guess there were some of his better ones, but there were a lot of nice throws. And it's just, to beat out Daniel Jones doesn't take much. And they gotta see what they have in him. There we go. Back to back, 2 guys that I wanted, Kendre Miller and Pat Bryant, both go. So not happy about that. I mean, maybe I'll go with Elijah Mitchell, bro. Maybe I'll just go. Maybe I'll take him. I do need another running back. Um, I'm going to take Cam Ward. And damn, man, I can't believe Pat Bryant and Kendrick Miller both went there, and Richardson. I was gonna, and Taylor. I was like, I figured I could get at least two of those guys. Amari Cooper, where the heck is he? Is he going to sign? Does he want to play football anymore? I don't know. Where is he? I mean, I haven't heard anything about Amari Cooper. There he goes. Just gets drafted. And you're going to see Rich start going now. I mean, I think he's going to win the job. I mean, they got to see what he could do. I mean, what are you going to do with Daniel Jones? You know, win 8 games. I mean, at least Richardson has the upside to potentially do something special. Even though he may never do anything special, but at least he has the potential. I think we know what Daniel Jones is at this point. And for fantasy purposes, I've been taking him in best ball and in some of these late high stake drafts. I was probably going to take him tonight because I have Warren. But I'll go Cam Ward. But no stack with Fields and no stack with Cam Ward. Although I got a Penix Bijan stack. I guess I could have taken Geno Smith and got a Geno Jack Betch stack. All right, last pick. Last positional pick. What do I want here? I'm not going to go tight end. Although I like Harold Fannin. I think Harold Fannin is a good late pick. All right, man. You know what? I'll take Elijah Mitchell for you, bro. You better be right about that one. All good, man. I like Chig too. I think Chig is a good late pick. I could have took Chig, Cam stack there. Could have did that actually. I've been taking a lot of Chig. And let's see. Back to top of your comments here. Bills need to sign Gabe Davis just to play Kansas City. Agreed, man. He absolutely torched Kansas City. That epic. That was one of the best games you could ever watch. The 13-second game. Gabe Davis went nuts, 4 touchdowns. Back and forth shootout. I mean, that is such a devastating loss. Again, I mean, Reed just has McDermott's number there. Although it could have been Leslie Frazier. You know, he was the defensive coordinator then. D-Hop is dead to me after dropping that pass and falling down his own right before the halftime in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that was ugly. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't work out with the Chiefs. January facts, free looks. Mitchell, I did take Mitchell for you, bro. And yeah, no sign of Cooper, man. I don't know what the heck he's doing. And we did see Keenan Allen work out with the Chargers, so we'll see. Yeah, I missed out on the Geno Betch stack. And let's hope Elijah Mitchell stays healthy. But I do like Brashard Smith. But again, got a million shares of Brashard Smith. So, you know, 1 share of Elijah Mitchell. If he gets hurt, I could always cut him and pick up somebody else. Again, I usually take Roman Wilson a lot of times in these drafts. I have a lot of him. I think he's a good late pick, but I wanted two of those guys, freaking Pat Bryant, Kendre, Richardson and Taylor, and they all went, or even Marshall and Lloyd I would have taken. So that kind of sucked, but pretty good team. I think it's something I can work with here. We'll go over it in a sec. Let me just put a couple of defenses in my queue. Then we'll get out of here. All right, so this is my team, guys. We start but the third pick in a third-round reversal with Bijan Robinson, Bucky Irving, and Breece Hall. I haven't been getting – this is my first share of Breece Hall. I haven't been getting a lot of Bucky Irving, so I wanted to get a little bit more of him. I'm not scared of Bucky. I think Bucky Irving's going to have another nice season. Maybe injuries is the one thing that could happen. But again, I took Rachaad White late to back him up. Xavier Worthy as my number one receiver, or potentially one of my number ones. I could Jalen Waddle could be there, or maybe Olave or Debo, I guess. Nah, not Debo. But Worthy with Rice out 6 games potentially, possibly more, a minimum of 4, it looks like. I like that a lot. Jalen Waddle, hopefully a bounce back. Now with no more Jonnu, they throw the ball down the field a little bit more. Olave, Tyler Shuck, I think he should win that job over the Rattler and Hayner. Those guys stink. So Shuck, I think, has the arm, a little bit of mobility with him and Shaheed, and then Brandon Cooks. Nice little offense there. Debo, no McLaurin in camp, but as my 4th receiver, I like it. And then Jaden Reed is my 5th receiver. Still an explosive player, still a guy they're going to utilize in different ways in that offense. I know Christian Watson for most of the year. We'll see if he comes back, even with the presence of Matthew Golden. Tyler Warren, all the reports in camp, they're going to move him around, use him like he was using in Penn State. Justin Fields, I've been taking a ton of him. I think he's one of the best values at quarterback. Again, one of 3 quarterbacks in NFL history run for 1,000 yards. Rachaad White to back up Bucky. Dalton Kincaid, maybe a rebound year. Kyle Williams, a rookie I like a lot. We'll see if he can emerge and be a consistent option there with Drake May. But a lot of receivers in that room there. But still a rookie I like a lot and getting good reports. Jarquez Hunter probably won't get on the field much unless Kyron's hurt, but still a talented kid I like and could be in a great opportunity. Jack Betch, no good reports on him really. It's all been Dante Thornton so far, getting the hype. But I think Betch is I think he's the type of kid or type of player that once you see him on the field and he makes some plays, then I think they'll start giving him more playing time. Penix and Cam Ward to back up, and go with Fields, play matchups. And then Elijah Mitchell, the pick from Luke, saying he's healthy in camp, looking good. The highest paid running back in the room. It's just a flyer there. Again, if he gets hurt or something, Bashard starts to emerge, just cut him before week on and pick somebody else up. So that's it. Guys, I appreciate you joining me tonight. We'll wrap this baby up with a defense. Luke, Jay, Jamie, Will, appreciate everybody. We'll be back for more of these. Again, like, subscribe, share to the show. And follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. Appreciate you, brother, for the chat. Appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jay. Catch you again soon, too. Luke is firing up at DraftKings. And, hey, why not, man? Saturday night. And drafting from the 11. Good luck with the team. And here's to Elijah crutching your championship weeks. All right, boys. That was fun. Thanks for sticking with me. I'm going to keep the draft board up. I'm going to sign off, play a little music, and we'll get out of here. Again, like, subscribe, share, X, Fantasy Savvy. And that's it. See you guys later.
Yo, vintage got the boom back.
Here we have fantastic wealth, and we have the technological possibility